Okay, so I'm Chantal Matthews. Good afternoon, everybody. How many of you have felt the colour drain from your face as your accountant delivers that proverbial punch in the guts, your tax bill? Well, that's why I'm here today, to share my 5 steps on how to pick the right financial support through advisors in your business journey. So, sorry, just a sec, just trying to get my screen working. There we go. So who am I? Well, as I said, my name is Chantal Matthews, and you can probably hear from my twang, I'm from South Africa. My children and I arrived in the UK in 2008 after a dodgy development deal and a brutal home invasion resulted in us losing everything back in South Africa. Since arriving in the UK, I have started up and sold my own accountancy practice. And the reason why I sold my accountancy practice is 60% of your time as an accountant is spent keeping up to date with the changes in tax law and trying to serve your clients to the best of your ability. Now, I don't know about you, but my ideas of fun is definitely not spending my free time learning about tax law. So things have to change. I've always had a passion for property, and this probably started when I was about 4 or 5 years old. Watching my folks self-build our family home was definitely the catalyst to me enjoying property for the rest of my life. So for the past 2 years, I've tried to immerse myself within the UK property market, absorbing as much information as I possibly can. Being part of Property Tribes, Vanessa's group is fantastic. So much information in there, it's unbelievable. I've seen John Howard on a couple of occasions presenting, and really great information that he gives out. I also listen to so many podcasts. I've had some paid for training, and I'm now a deal sourcer that runs from Telford, and I'm an author. So down to the business now. Enough about me. Let me share with you my 5 steps. So step number 1, you need clarity on what it is that you're looking for. A lot of people get a little bit confused when they're looking for financial professionals. Is it an accountant you're looking for? Is it a bookkeeper? Is it a tax advisor? So what I would suggest is that you want at least one of each of these different categories. You want a bookkeeper. You want to see them at least about once a month. You'll want an accountant because they produce your financial statements and your tax returns. And you want communication. You don't have to physically see them quarterly, but you want communication with them on at least a quarterly basis. Next, you'll need a tax advisor. Now, these are the big guns. These guys should save you more than what they cost you at the end of the day. And if you've got the right one, hold on to them because they're a gem. Financial advisors, they obviously help you build your wealth. When it comes to your tax advisor, however, I would say you could probably push it to every 2 years or so, but try and see them at least once a year if you can. It's well advised. Next, we'll move on to step 2. So step 2 in finding the right financial professional is ask for recommendations. Spread the word within your network. I mean, we're all on social media these days. We're all members of groups, and a lot of us are members of property groups. Ask for recommendations from your fellow investors. And once you have this list of investigations, I can guarantee you, you'll be inundated with a long list of professionals. Go and do your due diligence, just like you would on a property deal. Go and do a bit of research, do a bit of digging. Look at their social media channels, look at their website, see what information they're sharing, how they're sharing it, and does this align with the way that you take in information? If it's not aligned, pass them on, take them off the list, and whittle that list down to about, I would say, 3 to 5 professionals. Once you have it down to 3 or 5 people, you can then move on to your step number 3. Step number 3, phone interview. Why do I say a phone interview? Well, face-to-face meetings take ages. You've got your commute there. These days we don't commute that much, but you've still got that face-to-face meeting, which takes about an hour, sometimes even 2 to 3 hours, depending on the conversation and how it's flowing. So have that phone conversation with them first and ask them these 10 important questions. So the 10 important questions, firstly, obviously, do you invest in property? We all want our power team to be property investors themselves. That way they can relate to what we are trying to get done. Number 2, what is your license and which accreditation body? Every financial professional should be licensed and regulated through an accreditation body. If it's an accountant or a bookkeeper or similar, tax advisor, then they would be registered either with the AAT or CIMA, ACCA, or the Chartered Institute of Tax Professionals, and go to these accredited bodies and go and check their license credentials. I cannot tell you how many professionals I've seen that continue to advise people, even though their licenses have been revoked. So please, people, go and check their accreditations. Question number 3, do you require your clients to use software? Well, this question is quite important, because if the accounting professional doesn't advise their clients to use software, well, they're not really proactive. We all know MTD is coming. MTD beta phase for self-assessment has already been rolled out, and it'll come really, really soon. So we all need to go digital. So make sure that the practice or the individual that you're picking has already taken that step and has software in place and can advise you on software. Also, different accounting practices will have different specialities. So some accounting practices will use Xero, for instance, and others will be a Sage practice. Now, let's say, for instance, you use QuickBooks. So make sure that the accounting practice that you pick has at least one advisor for the software package that you're using. This way they can help you and support you along your journey when you get stuck. Question number 4, how regularly will we have meetings, and how do you communicate changes in legislation? Do they have a newsletter? I think one of the biggest complaints I heard from a lot of the clients that joined up with my firm was my previous accountant never kept me up to date on what was happening. So it's important that you get a clear picture of what their communication lines are from the word go. And that leads nicely into question 5, which is, who will you be dealing with? Another complaint I heard quite regularly was, oh, I've been fobbed off onto some junior. Get it clear in the beginning on this phone interview that you're doing with them. If they say, oh no, you won't deal with my junior, you'll deal with me, make sure that you get that in an email from them. Likewise with question 6, what are the fees and what do they include? Once they've confirmed what the fees are and what they include, make sure that you get this in a personalized email to you. You should also receive an engagement letter or engagement pack from them once you've agreed to sign up with them. Check that that correlates to what they've sent to you verbally and through the email. Make sure that you follow up, cross your T's and dot your I's. This engagement letter is basically like your auction pack when you're buying an auction property. So go through it really, really carefully and make sure that there's no nuances or little tricks or tips that could trip you up later on down the journey. Question number 7, do you offer monthly payment plans? So in the past, you would once a year go and drop off all your bookkeeping at your accountant, and you would be happy to wait. They would generate your financial statements, you'd go in and see them, you'd sign off on everything, and not only would you be lumbered with your lovely tax bill, but you'd have their big fat accounting bill too. And budgeting for this was always a bit tricky. So a lot of accountancy practice now offer monthly payment plans. So ask them, do they offer this? Question number 8. Now this is a bit of a loaded gun, because we've already done the due diligence on the professional. The reason why you ask them if they have testimonials and reviews and where you can find them is to establish whether they know what's been said about them and are they following up on their recommendations and testimonials. Question number 9. How many HMRC investigations does your practice deal with in a year? I once knew a client that got pulled for 4 tax investigations in 7 years. Now this client himself was squeaky clean. He wasn't the problem. The problem was his accountant. His accountant was renowned at HMRC for dealing with, let's say, not the right type of people. And this then resulted in this client being pulled for 4 tax investigations. Now I'm sure we can all appreciate how much a tax investigation costs at the end of the day. So why not mitigate that right from the word get-go? And question number 10, who are your perfect clients? Listen carefully to their answer here, because if what they're telling you does not gel with where your vision, your dreams and your hopes and your plans are, then I wouldn't even go any further. Make sure that what they offer, who their perfect clients are aligned to who you are. And not only that, you want to be referring people to them down the line. So it's important to know who they're looking for. Now we move on to step 4. So step 4 is be prepared. I was a brownie and a girl guide for many years, and I still live my life by this motto today. It never ceased to amaze me when I was sitting in meetings with potential clients, how unprepared they would come to a meeting. I mean, if you want a professional to take you seriously, surely you've got to take your business seriously and be a little bit more prepared. So what do I mean by be prepared? Well, obviously have a list of questions ready to ask the professional when you have your face-to-face with them. Have a business plan, proof of ID, proof of address, last financial statements, and maybe your most recent tax return. All of this information will make everything move along a lot faster. Now, when I say business plan, I'll again see the color drain from many people's faces. A business plan doesn't need to be war and peace. A little 2-page document with where you are now, where you want to be, and how you propose to get there, or even just a SWOT analysis will help you, and it will show the professional that you are serious about your business and you want to move forward. The last step, and probably the most important step of all, is communication. Now, there are 3 keys to the communication part. Firstly, is be open and honest. Your financial professional cannot support you or help you or mitigate any problems that might come down the line if they don't know the whole picture. Be open and honest about your financial situation, all those little hidden credit cards or bad debts or anything like that. Tell them about it, because they'll be able to help you going forward. The second part of the communication, make sure that you understand the information and the advice that they've been giving you. There's nothing worse than sitting in a meeting with a professional and they use their language, their jargon, and you sitting there, blank expression on your face, and you're thinking, oh my God, what is an asset ratio? I have no idea what this person's banging on about. So if you don't understand, don't be shy. Ask them to explain it again, and even a third time. And once they've explained it and you think you understand or you think you have a grasp, repeat it back to them and make sure that they concur. Make sure you have clarity. And the third part of communication is negotiation. Now, I don't mean haggle them down on price so that they resent you and your service is affected down the line, but definitely ask for discount, especially if you're on a monthly payment plan or if you're referring clients to them. Make sure that you get your discounts where you can. So just to recap, your 5 steps to finding the right financial professional is 1, know what you want. 2, ask for recommendations, take your list, do your due diligence and whittle it down. Step 3, give them the 10-question phone interview. Step 4, be prepared for your face-to-face meeting when you have it. And step 5, communicate. Communication is key. I hope you found that useful, and thank you very much.